And I hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it. And just remember, Jesus loves you.
Hi guys, just to let you know, we've got a brand new website, drcharlieward.com, where all our videos will be loaded over the next few weeks. And you'll be able to view all of those there's no charge for watching any of those. We've moved them all onto our own platform because all the doctor ones, which are very, very important, have been taken down. So we've now got control over those, but every single video we post will be free to watch. That's very important for you to know. The other thing is we're getting an awful lot of people asking us about gold and silver. And I've always been an advocate of gold and silver, and myself, I'm not in a position to give financial advice. I'm not qualified to do so. I'm just going to tell you what I've personally done. I've personally bought gold and silver, and I've used a company that I trust, which is shown below here. They've always looked after me well. And if you order from them more than £250 worth, you get a free 1 ounce silver coin, which is very, very nice. It's a nice little gift, but this is not an endorsement. This is just what I have done personally, and it's up to you. It's your choice. As I said, I'm not qualified to give the advice or financial advice, but it's just what I have done personally. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy watching all of my videos. Thank you. How exciting, eh?
Oh, so exciting. It's going to be a great week.
It's going to be an amazing week.
Yes, and of course nobody reported it, but Trump has declared this week Human Rights Week and Bill of Rights Week.
That's correct.
Yes, which means expect some liberation to happen.
Exactly. I got a lovely email from Mary Fanning this morning.
Oh, great. What did she have to say?
Basically telling me that everything was under control.
True story. I also got some information about Klaus Schwab is in big trouble. You know, every time I watched him talk about the Great Reset, I just sat there and said, Hitler's youth has come back to get us.
Yep.
And this guy is, it's all coming out. Apparently, they have plenty of evidence that the WHO and the Chinese and the World Economic Forum and the rest of the cabal not only planned and executed this COVID-19 farce, but that Trump nor any of the other, well, Russia and a few other countries, they're not going to be giving this vaccine. Okay, it's a farce,
complete and utter. And this week, hopefully, that will come out and people will start to see exactly what's going on. But I often have to pinch myself to remind myself that I was told that this was a smokescreen for the global financial reset anyway. The only thing that I didn't know back in February when I heard about this, that there was two resets. There was the one that was the deep state and the cabal, the New World Order one, and there was Donald Trump's one. And Donald Trump's one, very simply, the differences are one's backed by gold,
right,
and one's not. And one is a very fair.
Right.
Sorry?
One leaves us in debt slavery as we are, except gives them more control.
Correct.
Digital. It's completely insane. So that's why the Luciferians, they use similar language.
Yes. At this moment, we should also point out, Mel, you've got a new website, haven't you?
I do. The Mel K Show, melk.news.
melk.news.
And guess what I did this weekend? I read your memoirs. Yay!
Did you like it?
Yes, little did I know. You just seem like this charming, bubbly, funny, witty, smart man that's just carefree. But what I learned about you is no, not true. You have earned it the hard way. Nothing's come easy to you, sir.
Nothing came easy.
Yeah, it's so inspiring. I loved it. And I am going to be buying it for people. You know, the one thing that I really am struck by is somehow you found the multiple times, but especially when you escaped from that repressive cult that you were, you know, stuck in. Somehow you found the inner strength and courage to break yourself free and then deprogram yourself.
Mhm.
So, you know, that you have a lot to offer in terms of right now, there has to be like a mass deprogramming. So, you know, I was going to ask you, we can have a whole show about your book, but I was going to ask you in terms of where we are, you know, what advice would you give to people about, you know, kind of going inside and reevaluating everything you've been taught to go forward?
Well, this is what set me in good stead. From the age of 23, I had been lied to, misled, and had to find out the truth. And one of the first things that I did was what I've told everybody to do, is to reset your moral compass. And that is, I've said, if you believe in God, ask him for his help. If you believe in Allah, you can ask him. And if you don't believe in any of that, you can ask your mother or your grandmother. But we're all born with knowing the difference between right and wrong. Even a baby knows when it's done something wrong.
Right.
And somewhere down the line, Satan can take over people's lives and contaminate them to think that right is wrong and wrong is right. And even down to the fundamentals of when I grew up as a child, the word wicked meant bad.
Right.
And this woke generation have changed it to the meaning really good.
True.
So we need to get our moral compasses reset. And inside of us, we need to learn to trust our intuition. And the way that we do that is by making good decisions and understanding what bad decisions are. Now, in life, when you come to a T-junction, if you procrastinate, you don't go anywhere. You just sit there and wonder.
Right.
If you turn left and you find it's the wrong way, be man enough or woman enough to turn around and come back.
Right. Right.
And you'll learn that next time you come to that T-junction, which way to turn.
Right. Right. Well, that's where we are right now, basically, as a society worldwide, actually, where we have to kind of reevaluate what we're believing and what we're seeing, because our media, first of all, the American media is over. It's a disgrace. It's laughable. Like enemy of the people is too small, too small of a word. But, you know, like what you're saying right now, I think that there's got to be an internal moral compass reset to the best lives. And as we've seen, they've taken away the concept of consequences of your actions, you know, especially in America, but all over, where the criminals get off, no bail, no jail time, it seems. And the people out there are led to believe that this is okay, that not having consequences is fair for people that were, I guess, oppressed, socially oppressed. This is like a complete farce, but it's blowing up in their face. And, you know, I just think that it's really important for people like you who have had to reconfigure from a deep state, because we have been, though we're not in a cult per se, we have been indoctrinated by our media and Hollywood, and obviously all the powers that be, into a cult of complete, you know, upside down, you know, left is right, right is left. And right now is a chance for everyone to have their great awakening at once. And I can feel the energy out there changing and lifting us to a better place. And, you know, when I'm looking at, you know, people around here that are still fully buying into this COVID-19 and looking at the evidence of the election, that's when I thought about like how you had to go in and admit to yourself that everything you were being told was not right. And you knew it, but you had to find the strength to admit it, figure it out, and move forward in a different direction. And there's like a worldwide opportunity right now for that, which is exciting. And I think that Trump is putting out there this Bill of Rights Week and Human Rights Week to remind everyone that God gave us certain inalienable rights that over this COVID are governments all over the world that are committed to the Great Reset and to the cabal have taken away. And, you know, everyone's starting to fight back, and it's happening now in New York finally. But, you know, America was late because they were dangling it in front of us. Dr. Fauci, who is, I assure you, not getting away with this, but they were dangling in front of us. If you obey, if you obey, if you obey, you can have your lives back, you know. And now it's gone from if you obey, you'll stay alive, but we have a new normal. No. I just want to, we could literally, if we all wanted to, just say, okay, enough, back to our real lives, goodbye. And you know, it's the fear. It's going towards light and love and rejecting the fear. And I think that's where we are as a worldwide movement at the moment. And I can feel it. I can feel the energy changing. I do believe that the Russians and the military in Britain and the Pentagon have all reconfigured and are going around these big arrests. I'm sure you've seen. There have been military planes flying all over America and Europe, going straight to Gitmo and our other bases in Greenland. But I mean, people don't realize that, I don't think, that there's an alliance. And this alliance was formed a long time ago, all because we've been told by our lying media that it's Donald Trump against the world. That's not true. And we're going to start seeing that more and more. But I hear about a ton of arrests in Switzerland and Germany. Good, because that's always been the hub. And then they came here and infiltrated us. But, you know, I think that we're going to go back to a God-centered, you know, whatever your God is, but a faith-centered world where we are human, where their concept of globalism is the opposite of what we are going to achieve as the people of the world. You know, we're really going to break down this cabal and realize that all wars and all fighting and all manipulation has been done by the same cabal of people that are now going to be, God willing, destroyed, because the evil can continue to exist. And now we have the opportunity to look at the world in a whole new way. It's very exciting. And so what do you see happening on the financial front?
Before I do that, I'm going to do one other thing as well. For those people who haven't followed my journey through from the start, Mel and I have a weekly update, and there's a very special reason that Mel is very, very important on this journey. Mel has worked for Donald Trump for many, many years. She knows the man inside out. Where the mainstream media have programmed us to dislike him and to hate him, he's a completely different man. And Mel can vouch for that because she's worked for him. She also said he never forgets your name. He never forgets your birthday. He often invites you to one of his hotels for lunch with him and the family. So Mel, give us a little insight before we go into the money side as to your relationship with this man, because it's very important that people understand the reason that Mel is so important on this journey is she's worked for him and she knows the man.
Right. And I knew Ivanka in the city because we went to college at the same time. And I've 20 years ago, I worked at Mar-a-Lago, and what I saw was a very yes, he's charismatic, and he's a New Yorker. But people never quit working for Donald Trump. He's an excellent boss. He's somebody who, it doesn't matter if you're the lowliest gardener on the team, or you're the head of marketing, or you're the vice president, or you're a maid that fixes the rooms. He always is so nice. It's eye contact. It's how are you doing? He remembers names. He calls you by your name. He every year, because it's a seasonal job for a lot of people there, invites you back. And I also saw a father that was so in love with his family and so good to them. These people, they don't drink, they don't do drugs, they love being together, and people don't understand it. Tiffany, Barron, and all three of his kids with Ivana, they're all super close, but Ivana is still involved too. and the grandchildren, and they're always there, and they're always together. And people have said to me, oh, he's not a religious man. Oh, yes, he is. He's been going to the church at Bethesda by the Sea in Palm Beach for as long as my parents have been there, 30 years. But the thing that I noticed the most is he's very funny, but very approachable. He's always asking anyone for advice. He wants to hear what everyone thinks. He could go into the kitchen and talk to a sous chef and ask them what they think about something, and he actually cares. And that's been, I think, his biggest gift. Even in New York, I know people have worked for him here. He's always asking everyone their take on things. That's why I think he's had a lot of people in there in the office that maybe weren't great choices or were even enemies, but he wants to hear what they have to say. And I think he's an excellent, as we know, 5D chess player, but I think he genuinely wants to hear people's opinions. And I don't think he judges by where you went to college or, what family you came from or any of that, where, he was always a part of the elite. When people show these ridiculous pictures of him and like Epstein, Epstein paid to be a member of his club. They weren't pals ever. This guy's not like that. And he's very loyal, but he has a very tight group of friends. And he knows, and people say, oh, he trusts everyone. He's a terror. He fires people. Yeah. He fires people when he feels like they're not living up to their own best expectations. It's not, he gives you chances. And, but, he expects everyone to be their own best. And that's why when Melania came out with Be Best, I was like, that might as well be in the manual at all of his restaurants. I mean, all of his hotels and clubs and golf courses. The other thing is his product is truly 5-star. He doesn't skimp. This is not like he every inch, every detail is so important to him and to Don Jr., who runs a lot of the business and I mean, these are incredible people that gave up everything for because they couldn't watch what was happening to America, the infiltration of our country by a foreign power, by multiple foreign powers. But also Trump was uniquely aware of the plight of the workers. He went on when they were constructing in New York, he would go and talk to all the construction workers. Yeah. He didn't deal with just the money people. He couldn't stand the money people. He loves the real workers. And that's what I saw at Mar-a-Lago. It was like a true, when he'd come, there was a certain protocol. He still is at the time, Donald Trump pre-president. But there was always a sense of everyone was excited when he came to the club. Because it was, you knew you were going to get a show. He's constantly making jokes, but he does make everyone feel like he's grateful that they're there. He's somebody who will say, oh, thanks for coming today. And you're thinking, well, it's my job. Yeah. Okay. And, but also the expectations. And I think people work there and basically never quit because it's nice to feel good about your job, but you are rewarded for it. This isn't somebody who skimps on paying, like you said, they'll invite your family and everyone's families for brunch once in a while. And it's a real pleasure and you get to know people. And, I just always felt the family, especially Ivanka, they're so approachable. You would never, like if they put on like a disguise and you met Ivanka somewhere, you would never in a million years know that she was anything more than just your average nice girl that's interested in you and exceptionally intelligent. But the painting, the picture, the caricature that they painted is so false. And like I've told you before, after I left Palm Beach and went to Hollywood, let me tell you something. If Donald Trump showed up at your premiere or at the Emmys or at the Oscars or Golden Globes, people were so excited to meet him, to see him. This hatred of Trump is not about Trump. It's about them knowing that Trump knows them, and so, I mean, the demonology of this man, the good news is, I believe, as soon as his next term starts, we're going to start to really see, like, he is that man at the rallies. I mean, he's not going and doing those rallies for him. He's going and doing them for us, and that is the truth. But as far as what they've created, it couldn't be more opposite. And this is their thing. Because, everyone's being exposed. I'm sure you saw the CNN tapes where Jeff Zucker, who, mind you, is an Epstein Island regular, okay? So again, big part of the media doing what they're doing is because a lot of them, talking executives at Disney, executives at Time Warner, executives at Viacom, we're all on Epstein Island, okay? So there's a big part of this that's being missed because Epstein Island has disappeared from the media. It'll be back. But Jeff Zucker loved Trump, you know, and now he's having morning phone calls saying we have to demonize him, we have to talk about this. And, you know, it's just really unbelievable that, and, you know, he said yesterday, if I lose, I lose, and I walk away. Oh, God, horrible. Back to his real life.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, you got to look at that, what he gave up for all this BS.
exactly. And do you think for 1 minute he'd have said that if he thought for one moment he was going to lose?
No.
Exactly.
No, they already know he won. There are a lot of you know, people out there that are proving to be traitors. You know, traitors, people that I actually liked and followed that are really coming out to, and you don't, every time that I see somebody become a traitor before my face, I am convinced that they are guilty of something.
Sure.
Something. They're not doing it because they necessarily believe what they're saying, but they're trying to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And you know, we found out this week, I mean, though you and I knew, the Chinese bought that Dominion software for $400 million through UBS in October. So this is not cheating on election day. This was planned. This was a act of war on our country. And it started with COVID. And I believe that Joe Biden and his whole team and all these people at the CFR and UN and World Economic Forum were in on it, and the Democratic Party. Yeah. And they did this gigantic crime against humanity and are not getting away with it, but they almost did, you know?
Yeah, until people wake up to the truth, because there was one of the states, I forget which state it was, but somebody sent me a video this morning that when they counted the number of votes for Donald Trump in that particular state, it came to 75% of the state had voted for Donald Trump. And then they counted Biden's results, and it came to 121%. Now, you don't need to be a mathematician to work out something is wrong.
Right.
And the mayor was saying, you know, this is all conspiracy theory. There's absolutely nothing wrong. And,
yeah, every one of them is guilty.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you add 75 to 121, it comes to 196%, and you go, yeah, really?
Yeah. But when you look at it, okay, here's one thing that I came to after looking around. So you know that Obama and LeBron James, they went out there and they created this army of 30,000 poll watchers, and they trained them. And LeBron James made deals with all the NBA stadiums in all the places that are now being exposed.
Yep.
So, you know, this goes back to the old Chicago Weather Underground, Saul Alinsky, community organizer training. And the biggest problem with that is that they were very stupid. Like, these aren't rocket scientists that created this. The Democratic Party has fallen to, in my opinion, the lowest common denominator in terms of intellectual prowess.
Yeah.
So not only with their social justice campaigns and everything, and their attacks, quite frankly, it's come to a head on another level, because white people that were going into these stadiums and were treated terribly. People, a bunch of the witnesses, 2 of them Indians who are now American nationals from India, said that they had never seen such bullying and cruelty and abuse. And it was the Black Lives Matter, Obama, and the Rock the Boat, and all these liberal groups that hijacked the voting, especially at these stadiums. And they were treating, it was as if we were in South Africa, which we've been ignoring for 5-6 years, the attack on the whites in South Africa. Well, now it's happening here openly, and people are fighting back because
Mhm.
this wasn't a bunch of white people saying that they were bullied. These were non-white people saying that they had never seen anything like this.
Mhm.
And as somebody who's gotten caught in the middle of New York City, walking home in a BLM, riot rally protest, there are very entitled and violent, and now we have corporate America saying that they're going to give loans to minorities based on that they've been socially oppressed, as if white people and Asians and Indians and everyone else isn't suffering equally. Like, they've elevated those that they've chosen to be, better than. And the whole concept of equality has been turned on its head, and it's coming back to bite them because people have had it, and I'm sure it's going on in your schools, but in our schools, I mean, kids are being told that their white privilege is inherent, and that they are bad people, and that they have to repent. I'm talking about kids in K through 12 every single day. And it's got to stop. It's a big, big problem. But what happened at the polling sites that were basically run by Obama's army and LeBron James's 30,000, vote soldiers, they ended up being very abusive. And this is how these people behave. And it has no place in America. And it's not just, it's all races and religions and creeds and colors are turning around and saying, enough. We're all Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? When we die, all our skeletons look the same, and it's enough. But the racial divide, because I'm seeing it all over the world, has come to a head. And it's I don't think there's going to be, a lot of people say there's going to be a civil war. I don't think so, because I think people all over have had it. And, and people just have to speak up and say, nobody's better than anyone else. Nobody deserves more help than anyone else. Nobody's better off than anyone else. Everyone is equal in the eyes of God and our creators. And we got to go back to that concept, because our world has been hijacked by these demonic forces that keep separating us by arbitrary things that really don't matter, and even reading your story, I say, oh, well, you know what? You grew up in Detroit with a crack addict mom and, with your grandma and whatever. Well, that's horrible. But, you grew up in a cult, a religious cult, where you were told, this is what it is, and you have no other choices, and you can't think for yourself, which is worse. Everyone's cross is bigger than the next guy. Enough. We're never going to get better unless we end that. And the banks and the corporations are so complicit. It's disgusting. You should see our commercials here for Christmas. I'm waiting for a commercial with Santa Claus with a mask on at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, we're living in an amazing time. I was unaware of this until yesterday, when I was talking to one of the generals, who informed me that General Flynn was on the highest level on the inside with Obama whilst Obama was in power. And
Yes,
this is why he's become so valuable to Trump.
Right. Well, also, Flynn said Obama must be scared of me, and kind of laughed, Well, the truth is they would try to destroy Flynn because he knows where the bodies are buried. We are talking that, don't forget, there's this Committee of Foreign Investments in the United States, CIFIS, I guess it's called. And let me tell you, Obama, Biden, Kerry, and Hillary Clinton have sold our country blatantly by covert means through this special group that really needs to be investigated. We found out yesterday that 180,000 acres right next to a military base in Texas was sold by the Obama administration to the Chinese. We found out that Hunter Biden was facilitated the sale of one of the biggest car manufacturing technology companies in America to the Chinese. A lot of military secrets were sold to the Chinese through this one group that at the time was run by John Kerry, and then his son and Biden's son were facilitating these deals for the Chinese. They sold them 2 ports in America that we don't even know about. And the crazy part is Every single country has been infiltrated by China. And Joe Biden is a traitor. What he did, all of them. You know, nobody's even, uranium one hasn't come to the surface, which is full out treason. But they sold us out. But look at what's going on in Australia. I mean, a little too late, you know, and apparently China owns Canada at this point. And, you know, now it's kind of become,
two pieces of information I got over the weekend that I just blew me away was that McCain was head of ISIS.
Oh, yes, he was. He trained them. He was, yeah.
And Obama's origins are Iran.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Don't forget who ran Obama, Valerie Jarrett, a very nefarious creature who is still running Obama. But she was Obama's handler. And you know that Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Valerie Jarrett, Brennan, they all have ties to Iran. Mm-hmm. They're loyal to Iran. Yeah. Obama's Muslim Brotherhood, his whole story about being Christian is a lie.
Yeah.
And
he's an Iranian.
Yes. McCain armed and trained ISIS. So
his birth certificate is Iranian.
Right. And also what they did in Libya is such a crime against humanity. That man was not our enemy. Yep. He had come through, and I actually saw a speech this week that I want to bring up. He made a speech in the UN about that they were going to create a pandemic. Mm-hmm. And right before they killed him. Mm-hmm. There was no reason. And then they stole his gold and shipped all his weapons to what they were calling the rebel forces in Syria, where really they were arming and training ISIS.
Yeah.
And my big thing is that Trump is bringing home a lot of our soldiers to protect us.
Yeah.
From them, because they have infiltrated our country. Yep. You know, and remember when and that's why I'm looking at California with very, very skeptical of California, because right now, as you and I discussed a while ago, Gavin Newsom, right when who is Nancy Pelosi's nephew, by the way, people don't know. Yeah. Right when the pandemic started, he ordered $1 billion of PPP supplies from China. Well, it turns out in that shipment was a lot of weapons. Weapons for whom? And, you know, I think they're going to nip it in the bud. I don't think there's going to be a civil war. But do I think that Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the international banker cabal, all these people that are losing their power planet? Yeah, because they told, this is the funniest thing about these crazy demonic cabal people. They tell you, like Rockefeller's lockstep plan in 2010 predicted all of this. Their Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, all of this. You look at their Great Reset websites on CFR or World Economic Forum, IMF, UN, all of this was planned. And, you know, the world's waking up. I mean, like we've discussed, it's very hard for people to believe that people would be so evil, but they have to understand what this cabal is losing. You know, they're losing not just 100 years, 1,000 years of enslaving humanity under their umbrella. And, you know, you and I talk a lot about that they're sitting on $1 quadrillion and people are starving and homeless, and A and B should not be. So I think we're really far ahead. I think this Human Rights Week is a big deal and the Bill of Rights Week, because it's going to take us back to our original Constitution. You and I discuss and know that in 1871, the American government betrayed us and gave our country back to the Bank of England. Mm-hmm. So all of these governors and all of these Congress people doing this horrendous theft of our rights and our God-given unalienable rights this time, this is against the law. These people are going to prison. And you know, it's time for people to step up. I did get a little intel that, and I don't know what's going on, but it appears that there have been quite a few arrests. And you can notice, if you notice, who's usually out there and who's not right now. But people are turning on each other, and it's going to go pretty fast. Because also now I hear that he replaced the Security Council. So he got rid of all those warmongers, those nonstop warmongering billionaires like Kissinger and Albright, and he's replaced it with people that Chris Miller and Ezra Cohen Watnick picked And you know, none of this is reported in the news. And then they say, oh, they're replacing it with Trump loyalists. There's no such thing as a Trump loyalist. It's a patriot. It's somebody trying to defend America. Like these people that attack Ellen Wood or Sidney Powell, they're not doing it for Trump. You know, they're doing it because this is the United States of America and they're proud of it and they want it back. You know, so I think this week is the opposite of their Great Reset. It's the Great Awakening. Yep. And the Great Awakening will never go back. And I'm looking forward to it because, you know, at this point, you have to be willfully ignorant or willfully blind, even worse, to not admit that our election was stolen. Like, it was just a complete fraud. And what's crazy is they're not reporting it in America. Our media is still like, where's the evidence? Meanwhile, every other country, because I try to watch other countries' news, is like, the election in America was stolen. It was a farce. And then last night, I guess the Dominion servers went and did the same thing in Venezuela. And Pompeo went out there and said, no way, no way. And these Dominion guys are hiding.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. But, you know, this again with Venezuela, Trump has allowed them to do it, to expose them so that he can restore truth and honesty in Venezuela. It needed to get to this stage for people to realize what's happened. Right. And what they'll do is they'll do what they've done in Germany. They'll seize the servers and they'll prove to the people that the vote was stolen and who should be in power and who shouldn't be in power.
Right.
And he's had to, because people would not believe him if he just turned around and said, oh, this is what they're going to do. He's having to show people what's going on. Very interesting. You mentioned Lynn Wood earlier.
Yep.
He's got a new website.
Oh, great.
Kraken.
Oh, great.
Wood.com.
Wood.com. I love this guy. You know,
I love him too.
Patriot.
Well, I've now learned properly what the Kraken is. It's the new Secret Service for Trump, and it consists of Lynn Wood, General Flynn, the woman,
Sidney Powell.
They're all part of the Kraken.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? Thank God. But these guys, you know, because we've been following also our military intelligence back channel since October 2017, everything has come to pass. So anyone still calling it a conspiracy theory is complicit in the lie. And I'm so proud of everyone that's stuck in there. And, you know, it's the purge. You're one of the people that got purged from YouTube, but it was 20 targeted people. But now it's only looking like, well, the 20 targeted people, including you, are the ones who really are telling the truth, are the real news. And it's just so obvious and in your face that I'm starting to see people are popping back up on Twitter and are like, I don't know how I got my account back. Mm-hmm. Well, that's one person I follow, a great woman. What's her? War Nurse. She said, I don't know what happened. My account came back up. So, you know, I think he's been in control of the purge. Not that it didn't destroy all of you guys, your hard work. And you and many others had hundreds of thousands of followers. It was going great. And then the Hunter Biden laptop drops. Next thing you know, all of you in one fell swoop are canceled off of YouTube. But I don't think it's for good. I think he's controlling YouTube and Twitter at this point because the warnings on his tweets are too funny.
Yeah.
Become a joke.
It's you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up.
And the whole world is watching, which is great. I mean, the best part ever, like I've been saying lately, is this Great Awakening. I look at the future of traveling overseas, or I've been to Israel and Egypt, and now to go and not feel like the nerves and are we going to be alive? Are we going to get in a terror attack? I mean, I'm looking forward to traveling all over the world where people are now going to have a different sense that we all are big brothers and sisters on this planet, you know, that we all won, because this is freedom. And, you know, people that like prioritize their family, their love, their work, they want purpose in life, and they want their governments to do their jobs and stay out of the private lives. And I think we're all going to achieve that simultaneously And, everyone's saying nothing's happening. To me, so much is happening, and it's all going in the right direction.
I've got some travel in in January that I'm really looking forward to as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to traveling again too, because I feel like we'll be walking down the streets of Paris or wherever you are, in Cairo or whatever. And I feel like people are going to have a different sense of community and of like we're connected. Like we have never been allowed to be connected.
I've been invited over to America.
I can't wait. Please come.
For Trump's inauguration.
Come do a book tour. Do the Charlie book tour. I'll take you around.
I'm coming for his inauguration.
Oh, great. Oh, awesome. You must.
No, I've been invited.
Great. Oh, that's awesome. I'll meet you down there. It's going to be great. It's going to be unbelievable. Such a day. This is it's the American Revolution 2.0. And we're all invited because this time it was humanity against a dark and evil, greedy, ugly cabal that has kept every country, just enslaved. Now, what do you make of, New Zealand has clearly gone. Whoever's running, that woman running New Zealand.
Yep.
Wales, what is going to happen with these people?
No, look, Trump is exposing them. And just what you have to understand is that Donald Trump is the first country to change will be America going from maritime or admiralty law, as you call it there, back to constitutional law.
Right.
So once that transition is done, the penny will drop in America that every single politician is no longer in a job.
Right.
Because their job is under admiralty law.
The phony constitution rather than the original constitution.
So then it'll be down to the people of every single state to vote for a representative for the new Jasara or Nasara in America. So you'll have a representative for each, and it won't be a political side. It won't be Republican or Democrat.
No.
It'll be for the people of each state.
Right.
And once that starts to happen, it'll roll out because the collapse of the United Kingdom, collapse of Germany, Holland, Spain, all of these countries will be taken down. New Zealand, Australia, all of the governments will collapse.
Right.
And the people will say, we want to come back to common law. We want to be a living soul over against a commodity.
Right.
And this capitalization, which Donald Trump will be ending, will mean that every single country's government around the world will be defunct. So it'll fall to the people of each of these countries to choose their own government. And it's about time, for the shit that we've been through, that we don't look in the same swamp for people to represent us.
Right. That's what I was going to say, too, because here they've made it blood sport. First of all, in England and other places, it's handed down. It's a lot of nepotism handed down through the family, or the queen would say, oh, this person's going to be in parliament, whatever. But in America, good people stopped wanting to run. Yeah. It became dangerous for you. They made it, the Democrats made it dangerous to run in America for office. And they've made it a violent situation. Even watching these hearings, you see these Democratic, it happened to be a woman in Detroit and then a woman in Georgia, yelling at these witnesses that are going on TV in front of the entire world, telling what they know with such bravery and class, and these democratic people yelling at them. Like, this is why good people have been so shut down that running seems like, why would they put their families through it? Well, why should it have ever been that running for office and doing civil service should make you fear for your family? You know, and now they try to blame that on Trump after that's what they did to his family. These people are so resilient. The Trump family is so much, I have so much respect for their resilience through this, because they never let you see them sweat. Never, no matter how horrible. And believe me, all his kids have kids. Yeah. It's scary. And, so I think that this, like I keep going back to, I saw him do the executive order on a Bill of Rights, which are God-given rights. And that's the first step. As you and I know, most people don't realize that our Constitution was hijacked by our own government to work against us, as well as the CIA is really run by the CFR, which is for the one world order through the UN. We got to get the UN out of every, we got every free country, every country that respects their own sovereignty really has to decide that this UN has to go. It's over. They are the, if we want an international group, it's got to be started from scratch, because these people are too, even I'm right down the street from the UN. You know, these people get in because they get old and then they put in their kid. So if you're in the UN from Sri Lanka or Monaco or, you know, Egypt or whatever, your family's been in the UN since it started. Mm-hmm. These are not fair-minded people. And then, as we've discussed, once they let China into the UN, China's running the UN. They run every important, they're letting Chinese nationals, CCP loyalists, run the tech side, the aviation, the international patent office. I mean, so, you know, I think there's just got to be a big cleansing, but also re-education is really important, re-education of all of us, because they've held a stronghold on academia, which has caused this this current media. Because if you notice, most of these talking heads on the media, other than the CIA and Rhodes Scholars, they're in their 20s. Mm-hmm. So what do they know about anything? Because they weren't taught it. And, you know, I see them so disrespectful to Donald Trump, and they're all like in their 20s. They probably have never even read a history book that wasn't written after 1990. So you know, there's going to be a whole thing, but there's so many opportunities for patriots and people. Like, I'm thinking, you know, we're going to have, you know, there's anyone who's interested in scholarly things or history or whatever can go back and start teaching or writing, but there's going to be an open space for people that want to get involved in the re-education in a good way, the rebirth. There's just going to be, I think, so much opportunity for people to really find their passion and purpose and make it work for the good of everyone. So that's going to be a real positive outcome here, I believe.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. And that's one of the most exciting things for me. Of course, I've worked with the quantum financial system, and I've understood and seen the quantum voting system, but the quantum educational system will be huge, because there's so much stuff that's been distorted and completely taken out and changed. We need to know our real history rather than the lies that we've been told. Right.
Exactly. Well, that's why all these socialist Democrats that are run by this Ilhan Omar and this AOC in our country, you guys have them too, but they're all basically funded by Soros and his open society. But you know, if you don't know history, it repeats. Well, it did, and this time we caught him, and we caught him in the act, and we're going to turn it around. And real history is so fascinating. But they've rewritten it. Even that 1619 project, which is a total farce. They were teaching it in schools and getting away with that. You know, indoctrinating the children. It's got to stop. But that's been a backfire of the Great Reset cabal too. Is that parents with their kids at home are now looking at what their kids are learning and how the teachers behave and are shocked. Yep. The teachers have become the problem. You know why? Because the same groups, basically out of Chicago, and the same, you know, Weather Underground cabal in America, and the Soros Open Society, and, you know, Bloomberg and all them, they've trained teachers to be social justice activists. Yeah. You know, that's not what people go to school for. And, you know, right now in America, there's I heard a 300% raise in failure in children K through 12. Is this okay? So it's like on every level they came after us. The crimes against humanity here are so off the charts. But as we've discussed before, at the G20, I believe in 2018, Pompeo set up a very similar alliance group to the Nuremberg Committee for Crimes Against Humanity, international tribunals. And another interesting thing I saw, so I've been following, I could never understand why Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who they say was the mastermind behind 9/11. So we shall find out that that's probably not true. but he's been Gitmo, you know, so his trial was postponed many, many times. Well, it was supposed to start today.
Yep.
Guess what? If you log in to Gitmo and you go to their cases,
Been cancelled.
it's all, yeah. The 2-week Khalid Sheikh Mohammed trial was canceled. And you know what? I kept thinking he turned a long time ago on Bush.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking this has gotta go. And then I looked on after I liked that Monkey Works, and he was showing all the flights to Gitmo. So I just went to check the military tribunal thing and saw that 2 weeks of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's trial was canceled, but left on the calendar so that we're reminded it was supposed to happen starting today.
That's right.
So that's very interesting. I have a feeling there's going to be very different trials happening, because I've thought this whole time since I found out about a Bush Senior and what happened at his funeral that we shall find out, that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed had turned on Bush and them. Why wouldn't he? You know?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. So I kept thinking, like, because they kept postponing it and postponing it. Obviously, Obama would have let him go if he could have done it in the dark of night.
Of course.
But finally, Trump made sure that, you know, but I've been watching it and then suddenly canceled. Well, I wonder what's going to take its place, because I know they're ready down there. I know that they set up they built more housing in Gitmo for reporters, foreign and domestic, and they built a television studio.
Correct.
So let's get ready.
I've spoken to so many captains on private jets that have been going in and out of there.
Right.
I actually spoke to the captain who took in the woman from Germany, the CIA, the head of the CIA. He took her in there with her arm in a sling. She had got damage to her arm from the shootout in Germany.
Right.
And I also heard from him that he saw Sydney Powell arrive half an hour later on another plane.
Right. She's military. I didn't know that, but she is military.
He's military.
Yes. And I also believe that we will be seeing Jeff Sessions again real soon. You know, I've always thought that the entire Jeff Sessions, Donald Trump was a show. Mm-hmm. That man was the one who spearheaded the crimes against humanity, crimes against children, which is the big issue here. And don't forget, I mean, the great thing about me and you is we love doing this, and it's only just started, because most of the people know nothing about the first 2 years of the back channel drops.
Nope.
You know, so it's very exciting times, and I'm so grateful to be on your platform. You are my favorite person. I have my new Mel K show on Charlie's platform, and I'm so excited about your book. I want to take you on a book tour when you come to America.
I would love to. I would absolutely.
But honestly, this has been such a great journey with you. Connecting with you has been such a gift, because, you know, people can go on and on, but when you find people that are like-minded but also positive and looking for the good stuff, because that's where we got to stay. Because no matter how dark it gets ahead, you know, the light's always going to win. And you and I have seen the light, and the light is getting brighter and brighter, and it's more exciting. And we're going to have to really educate people, because people don't know 90% of what we're talking about has been hidden. It's been completely hidden.
Exactly right. Well, Mel, it's always a pleasure to see you. And down below, we'll add the links in for melk.news, Mel's platform. And she's got some great guests. She's got Anne van der Steel. She's got Roseanne Barr. You've got a number of different people coming up soon. So watch Mel's channel, because she's brilliant.
And you can find me also on Charlie's Jasara Club page, and on BitChute, the Mel K Show, and YouTube, if they allow me to put anything up, which you never know. And and always every Monday here, the best way to start the week is with Charlie. And guess what, Charlie? God won.
He did.
No more God wins. God won. Yay.
God always wins, and he's won this one comfortably.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Cheers, Mel.
Okay, love you. I will see you next Monday, if not before.
Perfect.
Keep fighting.
Cheers, sweetie. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Charlie Ward has finally got a new website. It's called drcharlieward.com. All of his videos, new and old, will be added there for you to watch for free. Add your email address to subscribe to Charlie's newsletter for regular updates and to stay in touch. Alright, Spanish version. Hola a todos. Charlie Ward tiene por fin una nueva página web, www.drcharliewards.com. Allí encontrarás todos sus vídeos, nuevos y viejos, para que los puedas ver gratis. Apunta tu email y suscríbete a la newsletter de Charlie para recibir actualizaciones regulares.